Hi everybody. We're going to talk for a few minutes about social presence. Now, it's something that we're going to talk about a lot throughout the semester, but it's important to get a sense of what it is right now because the more we can use it, the more you're likely to enjoy this class. Social presence is defined as a sense of non-mediation or a sense of physically being there. So when we're talking about social presence and computer-mediated communication, we're talking about how much communicating with someone through a mediated environment feels like face-to-face communication. This is a really important topic for distance learning because the more you feel like you're really there and interacting with people as a student, the more likely you are to enjoy the class and feel like you got something out of it at the end. Distance educators are constantly on a search for how to increase the social presence in their classrooms. And so that's why I want us to try to practice using it in the discussion boards. Now, the community of inquiry model of social presence actually gives us some tools that helps us increase our social presence really easily. The first of those tools is using effective communication. Effective communication is the sharing of feelings, emotions, and opinions. So anytime you share a personal story or explain what you think about something in the discussion board, that's using effective communication, and it's going to give people a better sense of your personality and therefore a better sense of how to interact with you. The second is interactive communication. Interactive communication simply means inviting further communication. So asking people a question on the discussion board or inviting them to tell you their thoughts about something. Those are forms of interactive communication. And finally, cohesive communication. That's the use of inclusive language such as we, our, or us. In distance learning, effective and interactive are the most important communication tools that you can use for developing social presence because our sense of we, our sense of community, does have a bit of an expiration date as the semester goes to the end. But our effective and interactive communication can continue without any termination, and we can develop a new sense of we if we'd like. Now, in distance learning, specifically for business education, there's some literature that says that visualization also helps to develop social presence. So if your peers have a picture of you, they know what you look like, that gives them a better sense of who you are and how you communicate. So this week, the main purpose of the discussion board is to help us all start developing our social presence. And I want us to continue to try to foster social presence and use these tools throughout the semester. It should give us a better experience at the end. It's also really good to practice because social presence is so important for the business world. Again, the better your social presence, the better sense of who you are people have, and therefore the clearer your messages are and the better people are able to respond to you because they have a sense of what you're looking for and who you are and what messages work best with you. So social presence in the business world helps with clarity. It also helps with that discomfort that you have when you move from working totally online with a group to starting to work with them face to face, because typically when we worked only online and then we meet someone face to face, there's this disconnect because their online presence is really just this much their personality. But when we get to know them, there's so much more that it's like we're working with a stranger. Well, the more socially present we are, the more that personality people get to see, and therefore the less the disconnect. So there's a lot of reasons that social presence is useful for business. And if we practice it now, we'll probably practice it with our jobs.